Alright, NT8 in the garage. We're going to do some Poulan Chainsaw repair here.
Put that sign up there. You don't really need to play.
We already took this off the last video, so you guys know what that's about. Now, we're going to replace the primer bulb and the gas lines. So the first thing we got to do, pull this cover off. Make sure you got the switch off, because you never know. You might inadvertently spin the son of a bitch up. So we got 1, 2, 3 screws to take off on the Poulan Wood Shark model 1950, which also works with the 2150. So we'll be back. Alright, got the screws undone. Take the cover off. Set that off to the side. Now, we got to take this. Wow, bad air filter. That's horrid. So now we got to take these 2 nuts off, take this cover off, then get to the carburetor and take that off. Now, just to be safety, unplug the spark plug. Because you never know, I may be able to spin this up by hand and get it started on accident. And since we're dealing with gas lines, we may be able to start a fire. Okay, on this particular saw, they're 8mm. So we'll break those off and go from there. Alright, now I'm going to try and show you. I got that cover off. You can see where the hose broke on this one, and the hose broke on that one. So now we're going to take the carburetor off. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to disconnect the choke, which is this blue thing right here, in order for me to pull that off. So, brake, and a brake down there. You're going to trip on how bizarre they do this stuff, so we'll be back. Alright, this is the tiny line. And that goes straight into the gas tank here. And this is the big line that comes from the gas tank. Hope you can see that. So we got to replace those 2 lines. And then this wire is no big deal. We'll be able to deal with that. So I'm not replacing any gaskets either. So this will be fun. Alright, now I'm going to try and show you where the stone is. It's in the tank. We're going to use multi needle nose pliers to pull that out. And then we'll go from there. Back. Alright, so there's the gas filter / gas stone. So you take the old hose off and wipe it down a little bit. There isn't any problem with this at all. Yeah, I just blew gas out of it. Set that off to the side. And now we'll go from there. Alright, we got this little tiny hole here where the hose has got to go in. And we got a bigger hose where the bigger hole where the bigger hose has to go in. Now I'm gonna teach you some things here.
Kind of like a little hole.
Pretty awesome. And do you think I'm gonna clean this fucker up? Fuck no. Alright, pro tip. You order these hoses, they come with flat ends. Can't have that. You gotta fit that down in the hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our nippers, we're gonna cut it at an angle. Like that. And that'll help force feed it
Like a needle.
down into the tank.
You don't make a needle with a square point.
And then before we plug it in, we'll cut it flat again. So, pro tip. Alright, got the little line in. Ended up having to use a piece of wire to help push it through. But the little line should be a gas return line from the carburetor. So, now we'll go to the big line, which will be the same principle. Push it down through and then attach the stone to it. Leave enough slack so when you do this with your chainsaw, it keeps working. So, we'll be back. Alright, now we're on the big hose. Let me make sure this is still focused.
Big hose.
Now I punched it through. I'll grab it here, I'm going to cut it. I'll put the stone on it. There it is. Now that's cut.
Should have put a little oil on it, that way it's line in quicker. Not gonna hurt the line, it's oil line anyway. Gas and oil matters.
Wow, I'm having trouble getting it on there.
Got lubricant, good lubricate.
Alright. That's on there. Punch that back in. I'm going to pull back up on that hose. Just a little bit.
Leave enough for it to float around.
Because that's what it has to do. It has to float around.
Sideways, upside down.
Right now it's clear up on top.
So it'll float around. Once it gets saturated, it'll pick the gas up either way you tilt it.
And let's see. Yeah, that's probably going to take a little work.
Well, yeah, once it's full of gas, though, it'll be soaked enough where it'll float around.
Yeah, I need it down towards the bottom. So now we go to the gas bulb. Alright, now we're going to hook up the gas bulb. Whatever I did with it. There it is. And then we're going to use the nippers on it.
Make sure you get enough line. Use a little extra, you can always cut it off.
Yes, dear.
Okay, honey, I'm just, you know, not the long one, something a little more longer.
Now, then you have to look at this and go, yeah, this one's big, so it must go on. This one's got a big pussy, so it must go on the big dick.
Funny.
And this one goes on the little.
That's the butthole part.
Yeah, the butthole part. That's for you gay fuckers.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Gays don't have gas. They just shit a lot.
Alright. So we got that part figured out. Now we'll bolt that down. And then we'll begin reassembly, which we're already at. So, alrighty. Okay. Got a little bit into a quandary yesterday. Okay, the hose that comes out of the right part of the tank goes to the primer bulb. The little hose on the primer goes to the gas tank. Now the only thing I'm confused about is whether it's the top or the bottom. I'm thinking it's the bottom. Then the return line on the left side goes from the tank or the carburetor back into the tank. So I think I put the lower one into the tank, which maybe it should be the upper one in case it floods. I may have to switch those. Alright, now we're just gonna button it up. Then I'll put gas in it, and we'll see if it starts up. Alright, where's the other screw? There it is. Now these model 1950s, there's no real videos on them on YouTube. Alrighty. That one's good to go, I think. Now this is the yellow covered one. See, I color coded these chainsaws. Quit being a dumbass, Tom. So this is my yellow chainsaw. Then I've got the blue one, And then I've got the Woodsman, which is a model 2075, but they're all pretty much the same. So I'm going to tighten that down and we'll be back. Alright, now to put that side cover on, there's 4 screws, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it also takes a Torx head fitting, but they're also slotted for a flathead. If they weren't, I would take a what do you call it? Metal cutting saw, hacksaw, and I would cut a slot in it also. So you get 2 in, make sure you can pull it. That means you got the starter lined up. And engaged. And then do the rest of them. Now, worst case, I may have to go in and switch those 2 hoses. But I left enough slack in them that I shouldn't have to do that. I mean, all I should have to do is take that cover off. And that'll let me into the carburetor. Alright, so that one's done. I'm going to work on that blue one, but first, this one, oh, son of a bitch. Before I couldn't pull it. So we're going to do one thing else on this one. I'm going to pull that spark plug and I'm going to squirt some of this PB Blaster down into the cylinder because it was solidly locked up when I first tried to get it started. So I got to get the spark plug wrench and we'll be back. Alright, it's a 19mm socket or a 3/4 standard. Swish that around a little bit. Snug it up just a tainch. Wire back on. Alright, we're good to go on that one. Alright, I'm back on the real tree. Hoses are all broke. Gonna have to fix that bastard too. I don't have enough hoses here to fix it. So I don't know. We'll figure out something. So it looks like the bottom one goes to the primer bulb, which now I'll have to take the yellow one apart and look again. Yes, I got it right. The bottom carb hose goes to the primer bulb. So, this one's ready to get going. Okay, that's a model 1950. The orange one is a model 2078. These all correspond with the model 2150. I do believe they're all 36cc engines. Yep, they're all 36cc engines. And people tell you can't do much with a 36cc engine. I beg to differ because I beat the shit out of these. Alright guys, that's how you do it. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.